helps to have some ideas to think about how to be
Yeah.
playful. I mean, I think that's one of the just brilliant ways, is that you just offer these ideas. And one of the things you talk about is learning to roughhouse, which I think is so
Yeah.
funny because we tend to be so like, just, I don't know, we want to teach our kids to emotionally regulate. We want them to be calm and things like that. So it can be very
Right.
very just not going in that sort of energetic space. But I love
Right.
this. I love the roughhousing. And I know often, like, mindful mama listeners or mindful parenting people may be kind of surprised by this piece. So I'd
Yeah.
love to talk, if you could talk about that first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So calm is a great goal, but we can't always get from overloaded, bouncing off the walls, to calm. And we also, I think, we crave calm because we have this chaotic inner world in our heads, and we have this chaotic world that we live in. And yet, a world that's entirely calm every minute would be kind of boring.
Yeah.
So I think the road to calm, an unexpected, surprising road to calm, is through roughhousing and high activity, energetic play. And also, life is more fun when there's this kind of high intensity, energetic play. So I want to share a few simple games that might help people get started if they're nervous about it. Because a lot of parents feel like, oh no, this is dangerous, or it gets out of control, or I don't like it, it's violent. So first of all, I think of a good roughhousing is more like dancing than like fighting.
Hmm.
So even if you're play fighting, it's more like dancing because you're really tuned into one another.
Hmm.
If you're pillow fighting, if you're wrestling, it will go very well if you really tune in to your child and you match their energy. And so you're not, if they're in a quieter, softer spot, you're not pounding them. If they're really want to go all out, you're not saying, oh, why don't you just tap me with the pillow as light as you can. You got to match them and find their energy and match them. If play fighting is too hard for you to start, then there's a game called the sock game that I really love, which is you can play with two people, but the more you have, the better, like up to 4 or 5 people. You have your socks on and your shoes off, and you all sit on the floor, and the feet in the middle. And 1, 2, 3, go, and you try to get everyone else's socks off while keeping your own socks on. So everybody's pulling each other's socks off and trying to hold their own socks on. And it's impossible to do this without laughing. Another great game that's not like fighting is it's called pushing hands. And you start out, there's a part called force field hands. So you have your 2 hands out and the child has their 2 hands out, and they're almost touching. And your hands are almost touching their hands, like about a half an inch apart. And you notice what you feel.
Hmm.
Now, some children will skip this step because it's just too exciting and they want to start pushing your hands, but that's
Hmm.
okay. But if they're into it, then you notice, and it's often warm or tingly. And that's the force field or the energy field between you.
Hmm.
And then that's cool. And that really, really helps this tuning in process, which is such an important part of connection. And then you push the other person back and forth. You push each other using just the energy field between you.
Huh.
It's kind of an amazing feeling. And then the next step, you press your hands together and you push harder and harder, but you match each other's push exactly. You
Hmm.
match the force. And so I'm pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and I'm not going anywhere because I'm pushing exactly the same on both sides. And this is a cool feeling. And then if you want, you can add a little element of competition, where then you try to push the other person out of the room or out of the circle. And so you kind of go step by step through that. And
That's so
so,
fun. I love that. Like, the combination of those two would be like when my brother and I were little, we used to like lie on opposite sides of the couch
Mhm.
and have our feet meet in the middle
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah,
see who could, like, straighten their legs.
exactly. That's a great game. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah. And I think that when we do this, when children do it with each other, it can either go well or it cannot go well,
Mm,
right? And so it's great when it goes well when children do it with each other, but sometimes one is stronger and doesn't hold back, and it can get out of hand. So it's great for parents to do this with children because we can hold back our bigger strength and let children win, let them conquer us. And this really helps them develop that moral sense that we take care of people who are smaller than us, that we don't uh, go all out. Um,
mm. Hmm.
um,
Do you recommend that we let kids win in games? Because I really, at least in board games, I had a hard time. I was like, I'm
yeah,
not let my child win. I want to like win
yeah,
this Candyland.
yeah. I think I don't say let them win. What I say is it's okay to let them win. It's some parents are afraid of this. This is, oh, their peers are not going to let them win. It's like, right, their peers probably won't. So let them build confidence at home if that's what they need. I think if we really tune into children, they'll give us signals of whether they need to win at home to build up confidence or whether they're ready for that kind of challenge.
Mm,
So when I remember when I taught my daughter to play ping pong, um, at first it was just too discouraging, and I would let her win a bunch of points and just to build up her confidence. And at some point, just so she wouldn't quit. And then at one point she said, "Are you trying your hardest?"
ooh.
And I said, "Do you want me to try my hardest?" And she said, "How about half your hardest?" And
Oh.
so this is a signal that she wanted to shift. She had gotten all the goodies from um, being allowed to win. And then she wanted to see, okay, how good am I really? But
Mm.
she wasn't ready to go all the way. She wanted to go halfway, which is not easy to do.
I
Um,
bet.
but I think children will give you this signal. So if children cheat at games, this is not a moral failure. This is not a time to panic that your child is a sociopath and is going to end up in prison. This is just a signal that their need to win in this moment is more powerful than their need for fairness and um,
Mm.
all that stuff. And so when children cheat at games, what I do is say, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that. I can't, I just thought you were over here and here you are over there." And I do it with a big smile. So I let them know they're busted, but it's okay. And if these are the rules they want to play, then these are the rules they want to play. And that's fine. And I remember with my daughter playing Monopoly, sometimes I would say, "Do you want to play the regular rules that are on the box, or do you want to play Emma rules, but Monopoly?" And sometimes she'd say, "Let's play the real rules." And sometimes she'd say, "Oh, Emma rules," and then Emma rules is like, "Oh, I landed here. I get $500 extra." It's like, "Oh, okay." Um, and so it's really about the child's need. And often we get hung up on what the child needs is to be toughened up, to be prepared for the cold, cruel world. Well, I don't think that that's what children need. Children need connection and confidence, and they need to know they have a safe home base, a safe place to come home to, and a person who always has their back. And to say it's not fair to let them win. Well, it's not fair. I mean, I've been playing Monopoly for, you know, 30 years at that point, and so is that fair to play by the regular rules against somebody who's played it twice? So,
That's true. And my husband, he likes to play Go, which is this
uh-huh,
Chinese
uh-huh,
game with these tiles. He's really, really good at it.
yeah.
And but it's a accepted practice in Go that if you're playing against somebody who has less experience than you put some of their stones down on the board already. It's a
Mhm,
built-in handicap system.
yeah.
So just
That's great.
as a point to, towards that.
Exactly. Exactly. Because what's the goal is not to humiliate people, right? The goal is to learn. The goal is to get better. The goal is to
Have fun,
Feel
connect,
powerful,
right?
have fun. Right, right.
Catch new episodes of the Mindful Mama podcast and other free resources, including the Mindful Mom Guide at mindfulmamamentor.com. You can listen to every back catalog episode, including interviews with Dr. Dan Siegel, Janla Van Zant, Sharon Salzberg, and get meditations, join our private Facebook group, and more. Go to mindfulmamamentor.com now. I'll see you there.